Duffy alongside of me, and it's a trip to a world championship here on the grind session. And before we get to our next matchup, listen, we're excited to have you on, excited to talk some hoops, excited to talk some behind-the-scenes things. And for those who don't know, Mr. Duffy is an agent, and wanted to talk to you first about the new landscape of basketball. I think it's kind of like I always refer to NIL. It's like when the internet first came out. Nobody thought anyone was ever going to buy anything online, and how crazy the thought process was of that back in the day. And now NIL is here, not only for collegiately, but in high school as well. And share your thoughts on just educating the general public on what an opportunity this is for young athletes in high school and at the collegiate level and even pro level. Mr. Duffy, I'm going to stop you because I'm going to change your headset. We got you on the wrong headset so I can hear you loud and clear. But go ahead. I caught part of what you said, but go ahead with masturbation.
What I was saying is, it's the biggest transformation we've seen in intercollegiate athletics. And there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good in the sense of kids getting more exposure. There's some monetization for their talent, but I do think it's a little bit over the top. So I'd like to see a little more constraints, less focus on the monetary aspect. Not that there shouldn't be something there, but when you pay someone money when they're young before they've established themselves or even understand finance, that can be a little aggressive.
Now, take me through a little bit of an early conversation with a potential client. So, I think that's an important conversation for these kids because now all of a sudden everybody's an agent, right? Maybe uncle may think he's an agent. Your cousin may think he's an agent at these high school level.
That's kind of an epidemic.
Yeah, I mean, talk about the importance of good representation for these kids and how vital it is, because sometimes we're seeing some representation and some guys getting influenced not only with business decisions but with basketball decisions on the floor. What are you seeing on the flip side of things in this profession?
Well, it's really up to the parents to kind of monitor. And I have 5 children, so you don't want to give them too much too soon. They have to earn it. And I think we've gotten away from that where you get hyped up and then they're paying you, a couple $100,000 or whatever. So I don't think in the long term that's the greatest thing. So as far as the qualifications of being an agent, this is a really hard business. I've been doing this for 40 years. To manage someone's career, it takes a lot of experience. It takes a lot of just capability. But on the other hand, there's been a lot of exploitation of athletes, so the parents are protective of their children. You just want to make sure you find the right people, do your research. There's some good agents out there and there's some bad agents, but I think it's more the education. What I'd hate to see is just the whole focus on athletics, and it's not your academics and your long-term well-being, because you can't play basketball forever. So that's what I think is we're remiss, that we're putting too much focus on the immediacy of economics even at a young age. But everything should be in balance, but not at the detriment of education and full development as a human being.
And another question for you. I look at, 2 clients of yours that could possibly have this conversation when you talk about basketball in the States with Anthony Edwards, kid out of Atlanta that just kind of wears his emotion on his sleeve, even back in his high school days, college days, and exciting player in the NBA. And then you talk about a guy like Luka, international player. He took a different route to the league. Talk about what you're seeing in the difference of games from the way it's played in the state, the way it's played internationally, how the two are intertwined when it comes to going head-to-head in the league.
Yeah, well, Anthony, he was a very competitive football player before he was a basketball player. But Justin Holland, who's his manager and business partner, got a hold of him when he was young. Winford Jordan also worked when he was young. So we had good people around him. So that's why he's worked so hard. He understands the foundation. He's very competitive. So he's developed the right people around him. Luka, on the other hand, went to Real Madrid when he was 14 years old. So he played in a real professional setting at a very young age. So that's kind of set the tone. Practices in the morning, shooting in the morning, school, and then playing with paths have worked. Obviously, these are two of the best players in the world.
One last question before I let you go. What is the biggest challenge for high school kids that are talented kids that start getting approached? And what do they need to navigate? If I'm a parent, I'm sitting back, that's a lot of information to try to filter. What's a good starting point if you're going to kind of map out a plan for an amateur player that has the opportunity to go play Division I basketball? How do those conversations
I think, I'm excited when we meet someone young who's really talented because we can put the focal point on, like I said, financial literacy. Here's money, here's taxes, here's how you budget. Because if you don't teach them that, they won't pick up habits, and it'll be problematic for them later. But it's really like just an early education. So I think parents just need to be mindful that you protect your children, you got to play the long game.
I want to thank you so much for taking time out to chat with us. I really appreciate it. And we're going to turn it over to the PA announcer as we have the introduction of our starting lineups, the matchup between Dream City and DNA Prep.
Starting at one guard, a 6'2" senior. He is from Miami, Florida. Number 0, Landon Joseph. At another guard, a 6'1" sophomore from Lancaster, California. Number 1, Jalen Kennard. At another guard, a 5'11" freshman from Chatsworth, California. Number 5, Jaden Robinson. A post player, a 6'7" sophomore from Compton, California. Number 6, King Rashal. And another post player, a 6'5" freshman from Pasadena, California. Number 7, Johnny Bolagan. And now the starting lineup for the number 2 seed Eagles from Dream City Christian High School. Head coach Kyle Weaver. At one guard position, a 6'4" junior. He is from Lagos, Nigeria. A top 10 junior in the country. Number 1, Akina Alozie. One guard position, a 6'4" senior from Beaverton, Oregon. This young man will play college basketball next year at Utah State. Number 2, Brayden Bowe. A small forward, a 6'5" senior from Albuquerque, New Mexico. He will play college basketball at Colorado next year. Number 11, Jalen Holland. Inside at one forward position, a 6'10" senior from San Juan, Puerto Rico. He will play college basketball at San Diego next year. Number 12, Alejandro Aviles. And the big fella in the middle, a 7' senior, also headed to Colorado for his college basketball next year from Lagos, Nigeria. Number 20, Taco Ibaiola.
All right, so we're set and ready to go. This is a matchup between the number 2 seed and number 15 seed.
Yes, it is.
Shout out one more time to Bill Duffy for coming on pregame. Sports agent, he represents Luca. So you have that trade coming in. He represents Anthony Edwards and got some good insight from him with NIL, international basketball. He probably has the biggest star on the American side and the biggest international star in Luka Doncic. I mean, doesn't get bigger than that, man. Some great, insightful thoughts from Mr. Duffy, and we appreciate him being on the program here on the Grind Session. You never know who's going to pop up at a Grind Session event. That is for sure. DNA, okay. Upset alert, according to Coach B.
Absolutely.
Early turnover here. Holland, throw down. Colorado commit, getting it done. Starting lineup here, Ike, Holland, Taco, Bo, and Alejandro Aviles.
I'll give the refs some credit on that last play. I like the no call. It's so tough as an official not to call those, especially when somebody goes to the ground. It could have been a trip, but I don't think there was anything there. And Dream City gets a run-out dunk to start off.
Shot fake, shot goes up. We talked about some X factors, Coach. You're calling this one. Upset. What is it going to take for it to happen?
I think they've just got to stay solid.
Ooh. Oh. Up top, Akizi
From Alejandro.
got a fresh haircut look and all.
He does. I'm definitely a fan of that.
Alejandro obviously has been around for a while on the grind session as a sophomore with Dream City. He's the big fundamental. You know, he'll fundamental you to death.
Coming into this thing, you're talking about the team with the most grind session experience, Dream City.
Yeah.
Between their lineup, you got Alejandro, 3 years. Holland is his second year on the grind session. Ike, his second year on the grind session. And you're talking about some dudes with a lot of experience going up against some young dudes that may not know no better. and mess around and make this a game. Here's
Right.
Dunk.
I was going to say right now, Dream City, everything's been at the rim. It's a good start for them.
3-point field goal.
But now DNA Prep,
Extremely poised group of young men. It's for any age, but definitely for their age. They're going to take your best shot. They're going to hang around. They're going to guard you to the best of their ability. If you're going to beat them, you're going to beat them. They won't beat themselves.
Nice little slip through there for Alejandro.
And I want to be clear about something I said. When I said he'll fundamental you to death, that obviously that's not a knock. That is
Right.
the ultimate compliment because that kid wins with skill, not being the most athletic kid, but he can still beat you with that skill and fundamental development that he's had throughout his Dream City career.
And Alejandro committed to go to San Diego. I would probably say this is a bit of a down year for him compared to where he's been in the past. But still a great player nonetheless.
You know, he's been that size since he was a freshman or sophomore, whatever year he started on the grind session.
Shot clock.
Shot clock violation.
There's a perfect example. You saw how much Alejandro closes out right there because he knew the shot clock and he wasn't going to give any space in order to get a shot off. Very, very smart player.
Iverson cut here by Ike.
Very
Another
willing
good finish
passer.
there, off 2 feet there.
And it's kind of part of their offense, right? It's kind of, you know, once Alejandro catches on the post, now everybody starts to cut because he's a willing passer and he'll find you.
That's going to be a foul on Taco there. Lozier off to a good start here. Couple finishes at the rim.
Number 20, Taco. His first team foul.
So first free throw coming up here for DNA.
Just shoot it. He's got the Giannis approach here.
Gotta have those.
Just one dribble and shoot it. Just.
Good wall up defensively, but Alejandro just stays with it. Gets the finish. Kid from Puerto Rico. Shout out to his family. He'll be back in Puerto Rico next year, fellas. Mark your calendars. Alejandro just going to work, man. You give it to him, I'm going to take it.
Well, and you notice there only one dribble right there to get to the rim. Nothing wasted. Just gets to the point. Ooh.
Tough shot there from Hard. This dude, I'm echoing B here, Coach B. And sophomore class, it's hard to imagine a better guard.
Golly, just a sophomore, okay. That's tough.
That's why I don't like the floater. You encourage a guy in a position for you to tell a guy that that's an okay shot. It's not. We didn't have the numbers. You weren't square. You weren't on balance. But it's a shot that we could get, so toss it up there. I think that's what it gives. It puts the guys. It programs them to do mentally. Is to take shots like that. That just there's no value in that whatsoever, as opposed to trying to find a better angle or either drawing the defense and looking for a teammate. That's just a bad shot.
Quick answer, best floater of all time.
There's never been one.
I'm saying player.
No, there's
Tony Parker. There you go.
Perhaps.
You got anti floater over here,
like,
man.
Kyrie is that kind of guy
one.
too, but Tony Parker kind of perfected that shot. Really, you know, the floater is more meant for getting your shot off quick to avoid getting blocked, I would think.
Oh, miscommunication there by Kennard. (15-7) our score.
So what I've learned is floater is the F word for coach, right?
100%.
Big boy.
Bucket from Atuka Bakadze. Timeout DNA.
All right, we got our first time out here of the ball game, 17-7. Dream City up 10 here.
Full timeout.
This is our 2 seed and number 15 seed matchup. The winner of this game will take on Fort Erie on Sunday at 11 o'clock.
Impeccable job of scheming so far by Kyle Weaver. Their half-court offense looks as good as I've seen them look all season long.
Well, look at him here. Look at him in the huddle. That's Coach Weaver right there. That's what he does. There's never a timeout where he's just going to sit and talk to his guys. He's going to have something drawn up, have something set for them to do. That's one of the reasons I love him as a coach. I think he's one of the best. I mean, he's been on the grind session forever, since the Hillcrest days, the Andre Ayton days.
That's how much we're hustling. Look at that. Look at that camera working over there overtime. And that'll be out of bounds down. You talked about the success of Kyle. He's one of only 3 coaches to win multiple championships on the grind session. Hadn't done it with Dream City as of yet, but could this be their year? Very much so.
I'll tell you what, that's one of the more memorable championship games that I remember.
Oh, Bella Vista and against Mellow Ball.
That one, but his first one with DeAndre going against Gary Trent Jr. and Prolific. Abu Kijab was on that team as well.
Some floppy action here. Now, that's a Peterson that can shoot it right there, man. That's into the game, number 5 in white. Talking about can fill it up. Tough pass there from Alejandro.
Great job keeping his dribble.
Yep. You pick it up there, you get in a little trouble.
I give him a little rondo action and no go. Reyes there. Reyes is one of those longer kids that can shoot it as well.
Foul's going to be on Johnny Bullock.
So we got a foul there, and it'll be baseline out.
Alejandro wanted the attempt there.
Foul on the floor. It'll be Eagles basketball on the baseline.
Hot screen coming from Peterson. I'll jump, they'll blitz it. Bo. Starting, going again. Good touch pass. Boom. Up against the shot clock. How about that execution?
Peterson for 3.
20-10. Bernard. The drive by Robinson there. He'll go to the line with a chance to shoot 2.
Like you said about execution with Coach Weaver,
Fouls on number 2.
I think that every team that he's ever had, I mean, you don't play for him if you don't execute. You don't play for him if you don't run the sets and be in spots that you're supposed to be.
I think that's how it should be, especially if you're running a program that's supposed to be about development and preparing guys for the next level.
Look at this baby at the line.
Totally agree.
This kid has had a terrific year. I mean, a terrific year.
Just a freshman too, huh? Coach's son.
Yep. Had some big time games, 30-point games. Dunk.
Gotta have that.
Misses the layup there. Jalen. And they're going to get him for an offensive foul.
Fouls on number 11, Jalen Holland. His first, 13 foul.
Gotta find a way to finish those opportunities, man. You're just at DNA. You're just not going to get enough of them against this team that you can leave points on the board like that. Anytime you get in transition, you've got to find the square and you've got to get a layup out of it, or at least get the foul and get to the free throw line.
Jalen.
Ooh.
Telling you, man, this dude is.
Field goal.
You gonna like him?
Yeah, I do like him. Very quick release on that shot right there. Makes it hard to close out.
They don't back down from anyone.
They don't.
This young group
You can't leave him.
They played prolific within single digits at Crush in a true road game. Oh, yeah. Good decision. Playing like a vet. The freshman playing like a vet out there.
Absolutely. Love the kid's stroke, man. It's you know, to me, it's similar form to, I mean, once again, not comparing players here. Similar form, though, to Steph. Kind of that quick release.
Fouls on number 13. Atuku Baktazi. His first, 4th team foul.
That's a new play. I watched DNA enough to know new play called Taco.
Rowe, great job. That's a good set. They didn't get it off, but.
Reyes, he can hit that.
Yes.
Ike sprinting to run down with depth, sprinting ahead to a transition. Good finish.
The speed, man.
Lozier.
Ike Lozier.
Hey,
One of the top guards in the country.
6, 5.
Kennard.
Yes, sir, boy.
Oh, my goodness. These young dudes, man. These young dudes.
It's not what you want.
Whew, my goodness. 22-20. Let's go over some of the numbers here and while we can get those pulled up. Coach, you called it, man, at the shooting. They don't back down from anybody. They're right here in this thing after one quarter. It could have, again, none of these teams are going to, I don't know what kind of start any team gets off on. This is a win or go home time. So nobody's backing down from anyone.
First quarter, DNA Prep, 7 of 13 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3. So great start for them. 10 of 15 for Dream City, so a very good start for them as well. Just 1 of 3 from 3-point.
The thing that DNA does is they almost lure you to sleep. we watched them do it to Prolific in Napa. The expectation when they showed up was that these guys are gonna make a run. We're gonna jump on them. They'll quit. We'll separate. Game will be over. And they just don't do that. You can't tell a team that's been as successful as Dream City is that a team that's not any more physically imposing than these guys are, and that is as young as they are, that they're going to be in a game with us. And so it catches you off guard each and every time. And if you're not prepared, it can turn upside down on you.
So Alejandro gets the quarter started with a bucket here. The lead has been as large as 10 for Dream City, but Holland with the rebound.
Nice.
Casil there by Taco to open up the lane there for Holland. There's Dunk getting downhill, stepping back.
Yes.
That's a beautiful play, or beautiful move right there. It's one thing to practice that move, right? But to actually pull it off in a game, I mean, great ball handling. Dream City, yeah. Just getting everything they want right now. Great looks around the rim, high percentage shots.
Taco with that finish.
Nice split.
Great
Great job, Don. Got to get that on the backboard.
They did.
On Jalen Holland, his second. First team foul.
That's messed up. Freshmen is crazy.
28-22. Duncan try to make good on this second free throw attempt. Free throw is good. Now this kid here, man, I think it's been one of the most underrated kids on the grind session as well.
Peterson.
Big time shooter.
Yeah.
Absolute sniper.
Yeah.
Another turnover here. Good read there by Kennard. Getting into the chest. And the ball just attacking the rim.
And those are those things that you may not necessarily expect from a sophomore. I mean, just a grown man move right there. Very fundamental. Getting into the chest, like you said.
That was effective because he didn't try to add anything to it. He didn't try to Euro.
Exactly,
he wasn't trying to finish with offhand, spinning it the opposite direction on the other side. He put the guy in a position so that he had his head under the rim. He went up strong with his athleticism and his length, and he put the ball in the basket. Plays over. Just get back the other way.
And he wasn't excessive with the shoulder bump either.
Absolutely. I coached a kid at Word of God that's actually just finished up he's finishing up at University of South Dakota right now. And the most frustrating thing in the world for me, I had to tell him all the time, the player that you are is by far better than the player that you're trying to be. Like if you would just guard the position and push the ball and make the right play, like you would be a really, really, really good player. But he was so obsessed with stepping back and twisting and doing all this other stuff.
Ike throwing it down.
Ike's got, okay. Clearly he's not, you know, what is he, 6 foot? What do they list him at? Let's see.
6'5", but.
What?
You know.
Come
that's
on.
what my wife said. She's like, listen, they 6'5" in the book. They're more like 6 foot.
But you could tell from that dunk, look at his wingspan here. Really stretches out there. So that, you know, there's always something to guys who are so highly rated like that, and especially if he's not. I don't think he's 6'5". Now, I don't know. But,
listen. That was a skip for him. That wasn't even him jumping. That's how high he can get. That was one of those little.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, he could go to a whole nother floor that nobody can get to.
I'm going to name drop again. It kind of reminds me, like, back in the Dream City days with Shaden Sharp. Like, there always looked something different to his dunks. Like, it was like, what is making this dude look like Vince Carter out here? Like, you know, but for one thing, I remember him telling me, he was, you know, at the time he was like 6'4", 6'5".
Yep.
His wingspan was like 7 foot. I don't know if you remember that. And I'm like, okay, that's what it is, because it's just so graceful looking, and you know, maybe some of the same kind of length there with
Ike. Yeah.
Ike, yeah, excuse me, golly.
Tough spot there. Turnover. Dream City.
Nice move.
Looking to take advantage, and they do.
Very nice move right there.
Basket by Braden Bowe.
9-point game.
He's staying out here in Utah. Utah State commit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a
foul.
travel.
Oh,
But if you watch that play,
Jalen Kennard, his first.
the one that they just called, there was a problem. The offensive player was already trying to figure out how cute he was going to be. I'm 3 or 4 feet away from the basket. I've got a height advantage, and I've got momentum. Get vertical, put the ball off the glass, we go the other way. But instead, we have to take another step and try to Euro.
and as an official, you have to say that was good defense. Well, you've got to reward the defense there. Three guys.
Yeah, blitz the ball. Somebody had to be open.
He makes up for it, though.
Jalen Kennard.
Kennard, very, very strong with the basketball. Very good around the rim as far as being under control.
Ike gonna let one fly, then it comes up short.
I think that was his first perimeter shot, and it looked like his first perimeter shot. Kind of short, a little flat.
Knocking one down, and it's back to a 4-point
two-possession ball
yeah,
game.
absolutely.
I like this team, man. My first time seeing them myself, I like this team a lot.
Good lob there. Alejandro having a really good half, distributing, scoring. Taco on the receiving end of that one.
Great pass.
Gotta find a way to get that to the glass.
Another great pass.
Oh, again.
Taco with the throwdown. Ike with the assist right there. 38-30. 4:45 to go here in this half.
Good work. I'd get it out. Well, that's kind of why I'd get it out.
Yeah.
It's a tough matchup there.
Ike taking it straight to the rack. Throw it down, young fella.
Jeez. Louise.
I mentioned there was another floor. Did I not say that?
That's
Did
right.
I not? Did I? Okay.
He can take
I
that
mentioned
one.
the first one was a little skip.
They're gonna review.
He had another floor.
Challenge.
Yeah. What you're saying is there's levels to this, right?
Right. Hey, he has another level that he can get to.
There it is on the replay.
Oh my goodness.
The out of bounds call.
Jeez. My goodness. All right, we're going to have a replay here on this last out of bounds to see who it was off of, Chris. We'll get that pulled up here in just a moment. Dream City is the number 2 seed. DNA is the number 15 seed here in this tournament. And while we got you, I want to invite you to follow us on social media. The Real Grind Session on Instagram, Tanager Sports on Instagram. You can slide over to X, formerly known as Twitter. Follow us there as well. The Grind Session on X, Tanager Sports on X.
timeout.
All right, so it'll be Dream City's basketball. It's off black glass. So.
Mr. Ref, I have a question. Did he not slide down?
So the call on the floor overturned. It'll be Dream City basketball. That does not cost them a timeout. They retain the timeout.
So 40-30 is our score. So successful challenge here for Dream City.
Switching up the defense here.
Good hand there by DNA. Reyes back to dunk.
There you go.
Great
Good
pace.
footwork to go along with it.
Joseph.
Peterson. That's what he does, man.
Yeah.
He got a stroke.
Peterson.
We got some shooters in this league. He's one of the tops.
Well, that's another thing with Coach Weaver. He's always found shooters.
Another turnover there by Bo.
Now look ahead. Yep. Right there. Nice and simple.
Right
Whether
play.
it goes or not, absolutely the right play.
Peterson, another three. Back comes DNA. No numbers. Kennard barking on instructions here. Just over 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. High screen coming for Kennard. He'll reject it.
I don't like rejecting screens.
Reyes hustling after that, but Dream City had come up with it, and Aaron pass almost thrown away. Velas, he's been efficient.
Alejandro Vivas.
45-32, 2:35 to go here in this half, and Alejandro having himself a half here in this one.
You get that kind of contribution out of him, man.
Future is extremely bright for DNA.
And just looking a little more into the stats, Dream City as a team is shooting 74% from the field.
Oh, wow.
For a half.
You see how easily he walked by Ike on that? That's not an easy task. Because not only is he an athlete, but Ike's a heck of a defender, too.
Well, on the finish, and that shooting percentage as a team just went up over 75.
Yeah. And, you know, usually, you know, we always say, especially old school kind of train of thought, is don't put that ball on the floor. But actually, I think for that particular play, I think that was a smart dribble to create the bump with the shoulder and then go up.
So Grant, sophomore for Dream City, checks into the game here. The rebound by Alejandro. Efficient is Dream City.
That's what you can always count on Alejandro to put a body on somebody and box out. Well, he knows he has
That's
to.
it. Yeah.
You know, he's not going to out jump you, so he knows he has to do that. But more kids should take that philosophy, though. even great athletes.
Another rebound there. Alejandro gets that one. Chris Brown inside, and he'll get fouled. I have a chance to go shoot two.
Love the quick snap pass there from Ike, right back to him.
Yep. Right play.
Right.
His first. Third team foul.
So first free throw comes up short.
Free throw.
Brown just a sophomore as well. A lot of really skillful underclassmen in this game.
So under a minute to go here in this half. Robinson letting it fly. Another one rattles in for the young fella. Jalen Robinson.
Jaden Robinson.
I love him too, man. As a freshman, his shooting ability is incredible.
Peterson coming right back, rattles in and out there. And Robinson into the front court.
Great take. Yep. And we've been talking about that kind of pass all night long. But Joseph, again, and a lot of times when guys are smart enough that when they leave their feet, they know they're going to get the defender to leave his feet, and that's when they make that decision. Once again, one of those old school things, don't leave your feet. Well, sometimes it's effective, well, right?
But I think the difference is leaving your feet to find a pass, one thing.
Yeah.
Leaving your feet to make a pass, something completely different.
I agree. Good. Yeah. Great point.
Dream City 49.
I'm going to hit you with some stats here in 1 second. And, I mean, really the story of this game so far is just Dream City just super effective.
All right, Coach, 12-point game here at halftime. Efficient offensively. You got to shoot over 70% as a team. What's the thought process for you guys?
We're not defending at all. We are late on switches. We're not switching on DHOs. Everything we're late to right now. So we're second behind. We're not boxing out. So defensively, we've been 37 points way too much.
All right, we'll let you get to your squad. Good luck in the second half. We'll hear from DNA when we come back. This is the Grind Session.
that's where we belong anyway. So it's not something like that we celebrated crazy amount, but it's like just we feel like we belong there. So knowing that we took care of business and now we're here.
It's very different, you know, like the shot clock, we had, in high school I had 35 seconds, so 24 seconds is more possessions, just faster pace of basketball. And also like the 8-second violation and stuff like that. You know, just when there's pressure, you gotta get the ball out quicker. Just, yeah, more pressure based.
feel there's like extra motivation because that's what you play for, you know, play for scholarships and all that. But I don't feel like there's any pressure that comes with it because it's still the sport that we practice every single day.
Well, we got a pretty good setup at Iowa United. We have a full-time teacher. We do our schooling online, which facilitates all the travel and taking care of school. Ms. Scott does a great job with the boys, making sure that they're up to date. And yes, if we need to, we do schooling on the road. But these guys take care of business, so we're good.
Just playing against good competition, you know, just every game, either somebody on the opposite end, you know, they're very good players, and just having that competition all the way up through college, then obviously the pro level, just grind session like really helps us get ready for that.
No, it's about what we do. We hang our hat on defense. We hang our hat on our principles, on the details that we practice. So it's about what we do. We're not worried about something else.
All right, here with Coach Robinson, 12-point game. Listen, Dream City's shooting over 70% as a team in that first half. Obviously, that trend can't continue, but what's the message for your guys to get back into this?
Just play defense with heart. I mean, I think out of that 70%, they probably have like 8 dunks, right? So we're not contesting just because they're flying high and all that, man. Just put a body on somebody. If you're in the right spot and you're there before they take off, then that percentage goes down. It's very simple.
All right, Coach, we'll let you get back to your squad. We'll see what DNA does here in this third quarter to kind of get back in it. Listen, this is a road to the championship. Who's going to be the last 4 teams before the weekend's out? We're going to find out. Exciting action all weekend long right here on the Grind Session.
As we start the second half, it'll be BNA basketball.
You already have deficiencies.
So we're back and ready to roll here in this third quarter. 49-37. The hot shooting is an understatement here for Dream City. Over 70% as a team in their first half.
22 of 32 from the field for Dream City. They've only made 2 threes, but when you're so efficient from 2, that's obviously what gives you that high percentage and big score. DNA 14 of 30, but they also made 6 threes, 6 of 13 from 3. That last bucket for Aviles gives him 13 on the night. 13, 6 assists, 6 rebounds already for Alejandro. Ike is their leading scorer with 14. Good pass.
Yep. That's why you got to keep playing.
Something about Ike. It's always perfect timing on his passes. It can be mid-stride, mid-dribble. He gets it out of his hand at the perfect time.
I agree.
First team foul.
Which a lot of players struggle with, I guess is why I somewhat point that out.
I think it makes it easier when your focus is, let me make the right play.
Yep.
And a lot of guys, even when they end up getting assists, they make the pass out of convenience.
Right.
They don't have anything
there by
else.
Holland.
Let me get rid of it.
And to your point, Coach, I mean, it can be a half step. It can be, if it's just that split second late, it's too late.
Yep.
Sometimes, or most of the time.
And then you put pressure on the guy that's receiving the pass. If he's not skilled enough to catch the ball in that tight space and convert it, it's a wasted pass.
Especially on the run, a lot of times,
And then the accuracy, which is another thing that's overlooked in basketball. It's not only enough to see the pass, but you have to make the pass, and in addition to that, you have to make the pass accurately.
Exactly. The first guard I think of with that is Rajon Rondo.
Oh,
with the Celtics.
Yep.
Good kick out. Right decision there.
Yep. Rajon figured out if I hit Ray Allen in that shooting pocket, yeah, I'm going to get a lot of assists.
Yep.
If I hit KG in that shooting pocket, Pierce.
I think it's a little advanced for guys at this age, but I'm listening to some of the higher level guards in the league talk about how a good point guard can deliver the laces to you.
Right.
Ooh.
Right.
Now, I've heard you guys talk about accuracy and all that. What about timing?
Absolutely. Yeah, we talked.
Anticipating the guy coming open instead of waiting.
That's what we were talking about with Ike. He's got great timing on his passes, always on time.
Spike one.
I love that point that you just made, though, Coach, about with the laces. You know, pass somebody some wonky, crazy spin, they catch it. I mean, so much of shooting that people don't really talk about is the feel and the grip on that basketball when you catch it, and your handle and your shot path and all those kinds of things.
Yep.
I gets up to get that rebound. Here's the ball, shot fake, drive, and kiss off the glass.
Oh, with the drive.
They may not be shooting 70% for this half, but it is still up there.
Timeout, DNA.
I want to go on record, too, at this moment. I absolutely did pick DNA to win this game.
And I told him he was crazy.
I don't have any desire to change that at all. I believe in these young boys.
Oh, yeah.
I'm willing to die on the hill.
I was going to say, it ain't over, Coach.
Yeah, it's not. It kind of is. But it's not.
Man,
but I absolutely.
He's still my boy. You know, but a good friend tells another good friend when he's crazy. And that's what I told him.
I'm telling you.
You know, it's just like, you know, you got some of these artists, they get it, because we all love music, right? You got some of these artists that make horrible records, and there's not anyone in their circle that says delete that. like I'm the person that comes in that says delete that one. Let's start over. Like some of the stuff that comes out, we talk about it all the time. Like some of the stuff, like whatever that is, whatever that was, just delete it.
Let's not do
that.
that.
Yeah, let's not do it.
Not exactly sure what we're going to do, but we're 100% in lockstep on that not being it.
AJ told me his favorite new artist was LiAngelo Ball. That's what he told me earlier.
Oh, wow. That's problematic.
Oh,
AJ has
God.
a son, and a good one at that.
Yeah, man, listen. My son's an R&B head. So,
Good for him.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
You better.
He went to his first concert last summer.
Who'd he go?
He went to go see, now this is new R&B, though. He went to go see Bryson Tiller.
I
Kentucky
knew you were going to
artist.
say that.
Yeah.
He's the young boys.
Yeah.
Like,
And
that's
he's from
their
Kentucky.
guy.
And he's a Kentucky
I didn't
kid.
know that.
Yeah, he's from Louisville.
You're going to have to keep him away from them girls, man. If he's in the R&B already, it's
man.
trouble.
Trust me. I know. They didn't get me started, man.
I don't know. I say use it, man. You into the girls? I'm cool. Go get a bucket.
Yeah. She's watching.
Go get some status. Lock somebody up. You know what girls really like? When you pick a high-level point guard at half court and dunk it on them.
That's right.
They
That's
love
right.
that.
That's right. Oh, man.
I'm with it.
55-38. Man, how excited are you? I know this game is far from over. I'm not trying to put the nail in the coffin. A lot of time left, obviously. We've seen what Minnesota Prep did with Prolific. How excited are you to see this group next season? Like, this got to be one of those you circle like,
oh, yeah.
Man, I can't wait to see them come out. They were, yeah, go ahead.
Well, and let them get a big or two as well. You know, I'm not knocking on any. They don't have much size, is what
compared
I'm saying.
to some of the other
right,
top teams.
Right.
Yeah.
You get you a couple bigs that, you know, rebound, rim protectors, that type of thing, catch lobs. That makes you a completely different team, especially with this kind of guard play.
You don't want to dribble that thing too much out there.
I say this with all due compliment, like Coach Robinson is one of those guys that love to figure things out. Like, he loves to go against the grain. He loves to do things that are different. Like, putting a team out here in this young is different. Like, it takes a certain amount of, like, belief and courage and just what I really want to say, I can't say it on air, but it just takes a certain level of confidence to say, I'm going to put these young guys in this position. It's the second year. I'm going to take a bunch of freshmen and sophomores and eighth graders, and we're going to go compete at the highest level.
You're going to make them grow up.
Like, what?
What a pass there by Ike, though. We talked about accuracy and timing. That was a perfect example of an accurate pass.
Come on, y'all boys, pick it up.
That leads to another layup.
Now keep this in mind. This is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to take the spotlight off of Dream City whatsoever. They're playing great as they continue to be the. But what would normally your average sophomore and freshman do in this situation? They will fold. You see bad body language.
Right.
You'll see people pointing fingers. You'll see them looking at mom and dad in the stands like, man, come on now. Like, you don't see none of that with this group. Like, they're a mature group. And a good play there by Robinson. Go ahead.
To me, you just see fight, and that's all you want to see. I mean, you know, especially when you're down, that they'll just continue to fight and just continue to play. If there's anything for these guys, and I'm sure that coaches coach, possibly more than anything now, is the body language and stuff like that. Nice take. Kind of froze Aviles there.
Yep.
With the in and out. Oh, man. Okay.
Yep,
we hadn't really talked about it, but he's on a run of his own right now.
One of the best shooters on the grind, man. He may be
17
I don't
now.
want to say he's the best shooter on the grind, but he may be. I won't leave nobody out. You know how you draw a blank when you see somebody in the moment. But
right.
He's been that all year, though. What we're seeing, he's been that dude all year.
Yeah, those closeouts going to come a little quicker now. But they have to. I mean, they're leaving him, though.
Well, they were late on that one.
That was going to be a timeout if he made that. I think what you're starting to see, DNA getting a little fatigued. You know, I mean, that's just what good teams do to you.
Yeah. And when you have to, when you're playing with as much of a physical deficit as they are, and they consistently have been for the past couple of weeks.
Right. And good teams don't leave you much room for error. You know, that's something you can always count on with Dream City as well. They're going to play a pretty disciplined game, and you're going to have to, especially like you said, if you're undersized or whatever it may be, your room for error gets that much more slim.
Alejandro off to Bo. Bo. Little dribble handoff action here. He'll work back towards his left over to Alejandro, and patience here.
Good D.
Wall up by Reyes. Ooh, man, got away with a walk there. Man, he didn't. Oh, we got a foul.
Now, there's a perfect example of if that pass is made a half a second earlier, that's a dunk for Aviles, right? I mean, I know he got fouled. I'm not knocking him. But there was just a little something extra right there that you didn't have to have. Skip, boom, out of your hand. Get rid of it.
Looking at the guys from DNA, if you don't know anything about boxing, this is one of the examples of why they're weight classes.
Yeah.
You could be as skilled a boxer as there ever been. If you weigh 145 pounds and you're in the ring with a guy that's 195, odds are you're going to get smoked.
These days, not even that. If they got 10 pounds on you, it's a huge difference. Well, I won't get into a boxing conversation.
But that's
you mentioned it realize we're just a drive away from Vegas. Huh?
Honestly, I was going to mention Bivol and Canelo.
Yep.
Canelo's the best in the world, but he fought Bivol, who's bigger, and Bivol beats him. Just because of the size advantage.
But you mentioned before that you like a lot of fighting and boxing analogies in your teaching, and I use that oftentimes with Brody when we're in the gym together, just teaching guys. First of all, I think as a dad, the first sport you should ever put your kid in is boxing. And not for him to be a prize fighter or anything, but it also teaches them that innate desire to compete, because there's nothing to hide behind.
Right. Yeah.
It's just you and it's just the other person.
Yep.
And they have the same gloves oftentimes, they're the same gear, there's nothing, and you have to put yourself on the line. You have to be vulnerable and believe that you have the ability to compete. And when you're able to do those things, it opens you up to so many other valuable lessons in basketball. Guys being competitive. As a guy, one of the things that we're going over now is our guys being able to compete on defense. You have to take, when you're playing defense on an offensive player, you have to take the defense to them. You've got to be aggressive. Your defense has to be offensive. Right. You've got to close the space and push them back, and it's no different than when you're a boxer. You can't just lay on the ropes all day and let guys take shots at you. Even though you're on defense, part of your defense has to be able to establish yourself to get a guy off you, or you will get absolutely annihilated. It doesn't matter who you are. You can't. Few people can do the Ali rope-a-dope.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that. No. So when you're on defense, you absolutely have to be aggressive with your offensive with your defensive posture.
Ready to respond.
Absolutely. But it's really tough to teach that lesson to younger players if they're not. If they don't have that boxing background to kind of understand the analogy. You got to throw your hands when you're offensively. You have to put pressure on the defender by going at them, by getting inside their body, getting your shoulder to their hip, and making them make a decision so that you can counter off of that.
Yep.
So rebound saves with DNA. Three to go on the shot clock. Dunk got to put it up. I got one for you guys. The winner of this game, which is likely Dream City, moves on tomorrow to play Fort Erie at 11 a.m.
I like that. 11 a.m.?
11 a.m.
Tough
I'm
turnaround
sorry, not tomorrow, on Sunday.
Okay.
At 11 a.m. What do you think about that matchup?
I like that matchup. I like what I saw out of Fort Erie today for sure. They've got the athletes to match up. I really like it. Now, hopefully Promise is okay. You know, he kind of got dinged up a little bit.
This Dream City team has been different this game than I've seen them. They've been so clean. Not that they play bad basketball at any time anyway, but they've been exceptionally clean in the half court. They've shot the ball efficiently, effectively from everywhere, and they've defended and rebounded the ball. They've done things at a much higher level than I've seen them do consistently this year.
I think the thing with Coach Weaver's, you'll know what I mean when I say this. He's got a type. You know, yeah, he had Shaden Sharp, but even Shaden wasn't like, I'm going to take over the game and get 30.
No, he played within their system.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so he's got a type. He's got guys, like you said, that are going to come in, buy into the system. And if those guys don't do that, they're not going to play. And I mean, it's developed a culture of, I'm going to come here, I'm going to be coached.
Let's talk about one of them. Arthur Kaluma.
Of course.
Played a few years for Cal. Man, we've seen that kid work his tail off. I mean, working full workouts after a game.
Yep.
We'll be in the bubble situation. He'd be the only person in the gym.
Yeah.
To midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and play earlier that day.
Yeah. It's like 5 years ago, but you're exactly right. He'd be the only one there before his team got there. You know.
He didn't have a coach with him. He didn't have nobody shagging basketballs with him. Be there 3-4 hours. And in the bubble, the one we're referring to, during COVID, it was a situation where there was multiple courts. So the main court we played on, you see the other courts. There's nothing blocking the view. So we're watching him like
by himself.
Like 3-4 hours, and he's going hard for like an hour. I mean, they're not like whatever shots, and you're just kind of, in your driveway type shooting. He was really like affecting his craft and so on and so forth, and it was fun to watch that kid.
Started his career at Creighton.
Yep.
Kansas State as well. Now with Texas. Kid's never averaged under 10 points a game. I said the same thing earlier about Jordan Pope. Mm-hmm. Same thing for Arthur Columbus. Never averaged under 10 points a game. I mean, I know maybe to the casual viewer or whatever, 10 points a game doesn't sound like much. But, man, I mean, that's a heck of a career, right?
Definitely.
And once again.
At any level of basketball.
Right. Not everybody as we've mentioned before, not everybody's got to be a star.
Right.
You come in and accept and be a star in your role, and that's what makes guys like Kaluma. I mean, we were talking after his freshman year, we thought he might test the waters. You know, I mean, he had that potential anyway. And I think you'll see him. It may not be the NBA. I think he could.
Oh yeah, no
but
doubt.
He'll play professionally somewhere.
Yep.
You know. Got another one for you. I haven't looked up his history or anything, but Jaden Nunn. Remember Jaden Nunn?
Yeah,
with Dream
absolutely.
City on that same team.
He was committed to
Iowa State.
Iowa State at one point.
Went to I don't know. I knew it at one time, but I can't think of it right now. Jaden Nunn. Baylor, that's right.
Mm.
And then started at VCU, that's right. I remember a moment for us, his dad.
Yep.
Kind of calling us over, tell us that he appreciated, you know, how we talked about his son, and that always makes you feel good because we've been coming out the other way as well.
That's all right. We've had some entertaining dads. First one comes to mind is Tata. Look, the look you gave me says it all, right?
He come after you, he'll come after the ref.
Oh, man.
I like to explain to people, too. It's like, I don't ever want to get it confused that when I'm analyzing or whatever, that this is what I would have done. That's not what I'm saying. This is what I'm seeing that I know the kid could do with his potential. And, you know, could have maybe, you know, so I get a little, I don't like, oh!
Goodness.
Fouls on number 7, Johnny Mulligan.
AJ, that's a foul, but good contest.
His third. First team foul. Bakatsu.
Jalen,
shooting 2.
Pinch, Jalen. No pinch. Landon, you got shooting. By yourself, AJ.
So second free throw is coming up here for Dream City.
Nice.
Did you see the finals?
Fouls on number 1, Ike Alosi, his first. First team foul.
Nice out. So they go back the other way, Dream City basketball.
I think it was a little late in the game for that.
Out of bounds, it'll be Dream City basketball.
Canars played really, really hard, and if you're going baseline and doing your best John Starks impression after this much basketball, you're from a different place. I applaud the effort, though, by the young guy.
Bottom 4, loose ball will stay with DNA.
Landon Joseph.
Skip pass ahead. Holland thought about the 3. He'll drive instead. Leave it for Chris Brown.
Chris Brown from Jalen Holland.
That's another one of those subtle timing passes right there.
Yeah, I think we have maybe another injured player there, somebody cramping.
Now he down there
77-49. Okay, so I got a question for you guys.
Yep.
Watching, since Colin's going to talk about it tomorrow, Kentucky going down by almost 30. You know, obviously, I think this is a really big offseason where we're really going to see the transfer portal in complete steroid overloaded mode.
Take over.
And what do you guys think about the strategy of a lot of coaches saying they're not even going to look at high school kids? Like Patino just made it very clear we're not even. What do you think about that strategy for some of these programs?
I mean, if Patino says it, I'm going to tend to agree.
That's that Kentucky stuff right there, man, kicking in, man.
I mean, he's the godfather, you know what I mean? I mean, you'd almost.
I have a different opinion.
I think he's kind of. Yeah, okay.
But go ahead.
I was going to go on a little rant about Patino. I think he's kind of put himself in that, started to anyway, in that greatest coach of all time conversation.
B, what's your thoughts on it?
I think it's been widely misinterpreted what Patino means and what college coaches in general mean when they say they're not going to recruit high school players. A.J. DeVance is a high school player.
Yep.
Darren Peterson's a high school player. Ike's a high school player. Patino ain't going to recruit him.
Right.
Mikael Brown Jr. is a high school player. He's not going to get recruited. What they're saying is we're not going to recruit immature.
Right.
We're not going to recruit entitled. We're not going to recruit guys who aren't ready to compete. That's what they're saying. They don't care anything about what year a kid is.
Right.
Just no. In the same way that NBA coaches don't care anything. You prefer to have a younger player. If you're going to be able to work with the guy, they're going to be more pliable, less set in their ways. You're going to be able to develop them in a different way than you can a guy who's older.
Yep.
What they don't want is they don't want these guys that have been told since they were 13 or 14 that they're great. They've always been coddled and had a way made for them. And if there was ever anything deficient in their game, it was a finger to point instead of a workout session to improve that. That's what they're saying when they're not recruiting high school guys.
Right.
Because if you're mature and you're a high school player and you're athletic and you're skilled and you're capable, you're not going to have a problem getting recruited by Patino or anybody else. It's just not a real thing. You need as good a player as you can get as often as you can get them, and you're not going to turn and walk away from a guy just because he's in high school to go and get a kid who may not be on his level just because he's 2 or 3 years older. That's not a reality.
So now let's talk about the reality of perception. Most people don't look at it that way. Just like before we talked about basketball being a trendy thing. Some programs, some coaches, maybe some programs hop on that trendy thing of just going after transfer, so on and so forth. I feel like if I'm a mid-major, my pitch is completely opposite. We're going to Fab Five this thing. That's my speech to every high school kid. I'm probably going to take my stab at a bunch of top 100 kids that I probably wouldn't have had a chance to have a conversation with in the past because of the perception that bigger schools are not even looking at high school kids. I'm going to use that against them. Yep. If I'm a Murray State, if I'm a Iona, if I'm a whoever the case may be, listen, I'm in a top 50 kids home, a top 60, 75 kids home, saying, hey, I will play you. If you come and you are who I think you could be, you will have an opportunity here. And
I think
why not?
That's a great pitch. I think if you're that coach, what you're going to run into is all these guys who you thought you weren't recruiting against because they weren't interested in. When it comes, they'll still be there. The same guy that you made that eloquent pitch to, and you thought, okay, well, Patino's not going to be in here, so I don't have to beat him. Oh, I've got to beat UT Chattanooga.
Right, or Wichita State.
Yeah, I got to beat Wichita State. Yeah. When you come down to it, it's going to be Coach AJ, Coach Patino, Scott Drew, Will Wade, Bill Self.
Yeah.
Like you haven't saved yourself any company.
Yep.
And those guys verbally might have, not any of those coaches have said outside of Patino that they're not going to recruit. But the perception, like you said, would be that that's not going to happen. But the reality of it is, no, that kid's really good, and I don't care if he's in the 7th grade, we're going to recruit him.
Yep.
And so much of it now, too, is NIL budget. You know, that may be some type of meaning in there as well. Like, I'm not going to go, kind of like what you said, Coach. I'm not going to go after this kid that's entitled or how much money I'm gonna get. You know, Patino's old school like that. Obviously, like he's not messing around with that kind of kid. That's maybe part of what he's saying.
At what point do universities have general managers?
No, some of them are getting now.
They already do.
Wow.
Steph's gonna do it at Davidson.
Wow.
They just announced that like 2 nights ago, or a couple nights ago anyway. He's gonna take a GM role with Davidson.
You got time for that?
Yeah, right.
But again,
all it is putting his name on it.
That's it. That's all. That's it. That's not a real.
That's
thing.
an endorsement more than anything, right?
And he probably make a little change off of it as well. Not that he needs that.
Fouls on number 5.
But it comes back to
Peterson, his first,
guys
3rd team foul.
hopping on a trend and doing the things that they see other people doing, whether it's effective or.
Good hands.
Hey, Jaden, did he hit it? Did he hit it? Yes or no? Oh, don't say that then.
No, I love that he was honest.
Yeah, exactly.
'Cause we've seen other games where players swear up and down that it went off to them when they really didn't know, and the coach wasted a timeout or a challenge.
We see pros do that in the NFL all the time. It's like, dude, what are you – don't you know that they've got every angle to see that you didn't just catch that ball or whatever?
Chris Brown.
Brian, how you've been in the situation of being in parents' homes, talking to a kid about opportunities and things of that nature. Man, how difficult is it right now to clear away all the noise where kids can just focus on development, like the game of basketball? Because even us, we're sitting here, we're having all these different type of conversations. But when it boils down to it, you still have to develop. You still have to play the game the right way, so on and so forth. Like what I think that's more of a challenge in the conversation with the kid that you may recruit.
And I think it's when a kid gets to a certain level of good, you almost can't avoid the conversation. You hope to have a kid that's solid enough and that's got enough stability around them that they're willing to belay those conversations for another day and just focus on getting better. We're recruiting a kid right now that's like a real high level guy, and if he and his family, his circle, if they're of the mindset that the ultimate thing that we could do for our team is for our kid is to have him in an environment that will allow him to get better, and that everything that we desire from that standpoint forward, we will ultimately get if we get good enough.
Yeah.
Like we've got to get them of that, convince them of that conversation, and if they're not convinced of that conversation, then you end up in a situation that you're fighting uphill. If they're worried about their brand and NIL and like all this stuff, you can't win those because that kid's going to go to the highest bidder, and they're not going to be mindful of whether this offer that's being made to me is in fact the best offer for me, or is it the most financially prudent offer for me to take. I tell parents all the time though, if you screw it up this time, don't worry about it, because you'll be faced with this. If your kid's gonna have if he's gonna have a career in basketball, you're going to have to determine whether the money or the situation is more important. And even with the guys that I deal with now that are playing professionally in Europe, I had a young man that played for us on the grind session. Went off to college. He's playing professionally now. After his first year, he had a really good rookie year in Europe. Well, we got an offer for a team in Pro A at Strasbourg. It's a high-level team, about 3 times the money he had made previously. And they wanted him to come and play for it. He wasn't good enough. I knew he wasn't good enough. And so for him to jump into that situation, the money would have been great, and it would have been a beautiful situation for about 2 weeks. They would have realized that he's not the player that they needed, and he would have been fired. And when you get into a situation like that, you have to, what does that cost you?
That cloud hangs over you.
What does it cost you? No different than any of these kids playing now. If you got a kid that's a legitimate mid-major player, that's a Steph years ago.
Yep.
Do you send him to Davidson, you let him flourish and become Steph?
Or does he go to Kansas?
Exactly. Do you force him down Coach K's throat at Duke? Or I think Seth was at Virginia Tech at the time, which is where Steph's dad played. You force him down their throat. They go in, they don't see any value on him. The first time he misses a shot, they put him on the end of the bench and he wastes away. Is that what you want? And though that kid's career is going to turn out a very different way based on the decisions that you make.
By the way, we were talking about Steph's segue, kind of back to his relationship with Davidson. He just donated $10 million to the school. So, you know, his love for that university is amazing. He gave us one of the most memorable NCAA runs and performances ever.
Yep. Had LeBron coming to watch him in the tournament.
That time of year, man. Again, we talked about just watching the SEC tournament. You know, I know there's a lot of other conference tournaments going on, but just the number of guys, man, number of guys you see performing at a high level is pretty impressive.
The SEC kind of took over this year as far as unquestionably the best conference in the country, I think. I mean, I don't think that's really arguable as far as they may get like 13, 14 teams in the tournament.
Which is crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I had, you know, what, 5, 6, 7 teams in the top 15, you know, I mean, just incredible. But that's another factor of the portal, you know, as far as everybody just loaded up in the SEC because, for one, it's one of the most profitable conferences as well, so they got the most money.
Yep.
Check the number on Peterson when you get an opportunity. He's been lights out, man. He's probably, what, 6'3" so far in this game. We'll have an interview with the player of the game. I don't know if that'll be him. That'll be goaltending. We'll check that here in just a little bit. Moving on to tomorrow, let's highlight some of the matchups too. We'll start at 1:30 here tomorrow. Academy in Central Florida will take on Royal Crown for the first game of the day. One of 5 games we have for you. Winston-Salem will follow against DME Wisconsin. Very interesting matchup there. DME in Colorado Prep. I did not see a Mikael Brown in sight with DME checking in. So that's going to be, I don't know what we're going to get out of that.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting matchup, DME without Mikael.
That's right. Iowa United, Huntington. That's a really good game. And then Utah Prep and the Fort, another really interesting matchup too. Those last 2 or 3 games tomorrow, man, I'm really all 5 of them. We may be in for a treat. I know we will be. Keep it right here on.
I'm confused as to what just happened in this game right here. It was like a deliberate foul.
Yeah.
Grab you, foul.
Yeah, I'm a bit lost on that one too.
35-point game, yeah. I don't know what that was. Yeah, Peterson, you said earlier, he's got 20 in this game. Wow. Very effective, efficient.
6 threes for him.
Yeah.
And that'll do it for the ball game, and Dream City victorious in this one, 67-63 Today, the number 2 seed over the number 15 seed. They'll move on, and they'll play Fort Erie on Sunday. That'll be the first game of the day on Sunday at 11 a.m. We look forward to that. We'll look forward to the player of the game interview coming up here in just a bit. This is the Grind Session.
Remember, we need those stands.
I'll go grab them because I have to get some gear for tonight.
All right, I'm here with the player of the game, Alejandro Aviles. A double-double for you, man. The Puerto Rican kid doing this thing out here. Listen, you guys are one of the more experienced teams here on the Grind Session, and what would it mean, man, to close out your career with a world championship here on the Grind Session? I know that's the goal. What's your guys' thought process going into this weekend to try to make it to Kansas?
Yeah, we're just taking it game by game. We know that the next game isn't secure, so it's just taking it game by game, not looking over any opponent.
And talk about your role this year too, man. You bring back a lot of experience. I know you're a senior on this ball club. What does Kyle expected out of you this season here for Dream City?
Yeah, it's just pretty much a little everything because we got great guards, so just playing off them. Whenever they need me to do something, I'll do it. Whenever, pretty much, just playing off them pretty much. We got great guards. Yeah.
This is Mr. Fundamental right here, man. I'm telling you, footwork is elite. Passing was elite today as well. Great performance not only by him, but Dream City. They were super efficient. We'll see them again on Sunday, and we will see you tomorrow. This is the Grind Session.